Alright, hello amazing artists. Today I'm going to teach you how to create a fall print. Printing is done when you have an image and it's repeated over and over through transferring. We're going to use a foam plate and a brayer. If you do not have foam at your house, you could use a styrofoam plate or a takeout tray plate. Anything like that. Cardboard may not work as well because it's not as easy to draw your image onto. So you will need a styrofoam plate of some kind if you're wanting to create this type of printmaking. There's lots of ways to make prints, but I'm just showing you one that we have been doing in class. Alright, so we're going to create a fall print. This one is done by using a pumpkin drawing. Some students have chosen to make one that looks like leaves, like a pile of leaves, or a big group of apples. We basically just want our print to be zoomed in, what it would look like if it was a zoomed in grouping of something fall related. So it could be acorns or candy corn or corn itself. You can choose your subject matter. I'm doing pumpkins. They're round shapes. They're really simple, and they look really nice when they're printed. Okay, so this is our goal, what we're trying to create. And to get there, we're also going to need a really dull pencil. And you see this pencil has really had a good life. It's been worked and used a lot. Okay, so I'm just going to take my time drawing out my group of pumpkins with my really dull pencil. If you want to draw first on a blank piece of paper and then draw on top of it to make an indentation, that will work nicely, but you can also just freehand it on here. With that, you cannot erase your image, so whatever you choose to draw, it is on here for good. So you got to be careful taking your time. Alright, I'm going to start off by drawing with my pencil, my dull pencil, a round shape. And pumpkins are kind of like balls, except for they are more organic. So some of the shape, you can see, might have a little bit of bumps on the line. And that's great. You want that. You also want to make sure that you're really pressing into your styrofoam plate because we want a really nice indentation. That way when it's time to roll our ink on, it's not going to become just one color. You'll be able to actually see the pumpkins. Pumpkins also have these ring lines on them. It's going to help make it look round, so if you curve that line a little bit, maybe straight in the center, it will help the illusion that you have a round image. I'm going to create a stem, and I might add some texture by drawing lines in my stem. Okay, that's one. So remember, we're making a zoomed in image of a big pile of pumpkins, or whatever you're choosing. So you're going to have to overlap. When you overlap, it makes it look like something is in front of something else or behind something else. So I'm just going to continue on as if there was really a pumpkin behind the one that I drew first, adding my stem, some texture, and keep going. Make sure that those lines, those indentation lines, are pretty deep. You might even be able to see them on the back side. That's a good indication that you're doing them deep enough. Okay. Now that I have a big group of pumpkins, we can tell that they're pumpkins because of their round shape, the lines that's curved. Adding a stem is also going to help make that appear to be more pumpkin-like. You're going to need a paintbrush. This is a brayer. We use these in art class. It has a rubber gripper on it, so that way it makes it smooth, but a paintbrush will be just as fine. Another thing to remember when you are using printmaking is that it is nice and neat. So I have my paint. In art class, we normally use printing ink. It would look something like this. It's very thick, and sometimes it's hard for the kids to roll with the brayer on this. So paint will work just fine, but this is what we use in class, printing ink. So I'm going to take my paintbrush or brayer, whatever you're using. If you have a roller sponge, that might work too. And I'm going to roll that paint until my brayer is completely covered. I like this copper color. I thought it would be nice for fall. And all you're going to do next is just roll that paint onto your foam drawing. You do not want a lot of paint inside of any drawing mark that you made, because then you won't be able to see your design very well. So I'll show you what we do if that happens. It looks really thin in some areas, so I might go back and paint on top. You do need to do this quickly because you do not want it to dry in between prints. Okay. So taking that pencil, that well-loved pencil, and just kind of scraping some of that paint out will definitely help your design show up better, but this is something you need to do really quickly. You don't want the paint that's on there thin to dry. Printers that do this, that are printmakers, a lot of times will use linoleum, make linoleum cuts, wood cuts, lots of other things. I just use foam plates because it's safe with children and it's easy to make marks into. All right, I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so I've got my printing paper ready that I'm going to transfer this onto. I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to place it on top. You can use this and rub it, or if you don't want a chance getting your hands dirty, you can take paper and place it on top. You're going to use a little bit of pressure, so you want to rub that. Okay, this is the part where we see if our print was successful or not. It's okay, not all of them are going to be perfect. Okay, so there's my styrofoam plate that I used, and here's the print that came off of that. So some things that I love is that I can see right here, the stem shows very well. A lot of these pumpkin lines showed up nice and neatly. I like how that pumpkin really turned out. Things I don't love about this print in particular is the thin areas where the paint was really thin going on. So that is my fault. I should have gone back over and made sure that paint was on there nice and thick. You can do several of these, so once you do one print, do it again. Wipe it off. You can use a baby wipe or a wet paper towel. Wipe it off and do a different color, or do it on a different piece of material. If you want to use construction paper or tan paper, you can really use lots of different types of surfaces. Something I added on this one that I really liked was a little bit of sparkle. So if you have glitter while this is wet, just kind of put some sparkle on there. I really like how that turned out. Here's some from class that we've been working on. This is a pile of leaves, some more pumpkins, as you can see. So they all look different. They all turned out pretty well, and I hope that you have fun. So use what you have, and if you don't have something, think of a way you can use to create it, or maybe you can find someone that might have it. You can use it, but learn something new today with printmaking. Have fun.